Hello, dear student. This is Professor Ashok Kumar. I heartily welcome all of you in my video lecture. This is consecutive third video lecture that I am going to present here on same chapter, that is heat engine. So previous my two lecture on same chapter, heat engine, I have covered an introduction, elementary types of heat engine, classification of heat engine. We have also discussed about the Otto cycle. We have also discussed about the Carnot cycle, Carnot vapor cycle. Also, we have covered Rankine cycle, its efficiency, and so many things. So now this lecture, the remaining portion of this chapter, we will discuss herein. Let's start with the first slide, and that is the thermodynamic cycle number 4 that we are going to discuss. Up to now, Otto cycle that you have listened numbers of time, but this is the time wherein specifically we will discuss actually what is happening in thermodynamic cycle like Otto cycle. So up to now, we have discussed three basic types of thermodynamic cycle, and that is uh, Carnot cycle, Carnot vapor cycle, Rankine cycle, and this is the fourth one, Otto cycle. Before starting an analysis, analysis of relation of the efficiency equation and the few properties, we should to discuss about an introductory part of an Otto cycle. Basically, this cycle is invented by German engineer Nicholas August Otto, and based on its contribution for the such invention, entire cycle is known as a Otto cycle. He has found this Otto cycle in 1876. It is also known as a constant volume heat addition cycle because whenever we will discuss about the PV diagram and the actual working of that Otto cycle, at that time you will see that the heat is added by keeping the volume as a constant property. So it will be also known as a constant volume heat addition cycle. Generally, this type of thermodynamic cycle, especially used in petrol and gas engine. We know that Rankine or Carnot vapor cycle is widely used in case of thermal power plant, whereas Otto cycle finds its typical application in petrol as well as a gas engine. There is one very famous terms, that is air standard efficiency. It is actually the efficiency of engine in which air is used as a working substance is known as air standard efficiency. That means suppose you are using working medium as air and you are calculating efficiency of that particular thermodynamic cycle, then it will be known as a air standard efficiency. And if you are taking air as a working medium, then whatsoever the efficiency you are calculating is always greater than that of the other types of the working medium which are being used in thermodynamic cycle. So we can say that the air standard efficiency is pioneer one as compared to other thermodynamic cycles efficiency. We can compare it with other two. And Otto cycle is also one of the air standard cycle because we will discuss later on the remaining large portion. But in case of Otto cycle, or we can say that the engine works on the Otto cycle, in which specially air is used as a working medium. So Otto cycle is known as a air standard cycle also. Now, before deriving, a few assumptions has been taken by August Otto, and that is that the working fluid he has taken as air. In the cycle, all cycle are reversible. That means one state from one state to other state, from other to initial state, any process can be possible. That means all the processes are reversible in manner. Third assumption is specific heat of air remain constant irrespective of all temperature. It will not change with respect to temperature. Mass of working fluid remain constant throughout the cycle. It will also not change. So entire cycle consider the unique mass system. That means whatever the mass enters at the initial point will remain the same at the exit point too. So mass will not change. Last assumption is that heat is supplied from the high temperature heat source and some of it is rejected to heat sink. That means majority of portion is converted to utilize in work. Remaining portion, that is very less amount, will be rejected to sink. This is what the few assumptions has been made while deriving this relation by the Nicholas August Otto. Now look at the diagram. You have given two diagram. One is the pressure versus volume property relation diagram, PV diagram, and right side diagram, that is the actual working of Otto cycle. Actual working of engine works on basically Otto cycle. So basically there are six thermodynamic process and four stroke that are required to complete that cycle. Out of that six, two processes, out of six, two processes are, one is constant pressure suction process and one is the constant pressure exhaust stroke. So we should start with the reversible adiabatic or isentropic process, and that is process number 1 to 2. In that particular process, the pressure is going to be increased from P1 to P2. Air is compressed from state 1 to 2. Pressure and temperature, both of the property of air is increased, whereas due to compression process, volume of air that is we have taken as a working medium will be decreased. In order to compress the air, we require to have some kind of compression work. So WN or W in, that should be supplied in order to compress the air during process number 1 to 2, that is reversible adiabatic or isentropic process. Basically what happens during suction stroke or suction process, due to pressure difference, air from the atmosphere is enter inside the piston and cylinder assembly through inlet port, inlet valve. And once air is entered, then this process is going to be start 1 to 2. So whatever the amount or the quantity of air that is entered in piston and cylinder required to be compressed. So this particular process or the performance is done in this process number 1 to 2, that is reversible adiabatic or isentropic compression. After that, the process number 2 to 3 is there, and that is known as a constant volume heat addition. Definitely, in that particular process, heat is added. Generally, added by keeping the volume as a constant. So if you are adding heat, of course, pressure and temperature will be increased, whereas volume will remain same, because this is constant volume heat addition process. And the amount that you are supplying heat is equal to Qs is equal to mCv, or higher temperature to lower temperature. That means higher temperature over here in process 2 to 3 is T3, lower temperature is T2. So in that way, in that particular mathematical equation, you can find the heat supplied, that is equal to mCv T3 minus T2. If you are looking the actual working of this particular process that is happening in this block, over here, if you are looking carefully, uh, after compression, that means this is the compression process. After at the end of compression process, your piston will reach over here. So over here, it will not move for longer time, and in that way, if piston is not moving, the volume of the cylinder, or we can say that the volume above the piston is remain constant. So at that particular time, due to spark plug, spark is introduced over here. And as we know that due to compression stroke previously we have performed, due to that particular compression process, the air and the whatever the fuel, gas or petrol mixture get compressed so much. So in that way, pressure and temperature is already high, just need to have the spark in between. So by introducing spark, there is a combustion process is going to be start, and due to combustion, large amount of heat is to be produced, and the content of that heat is supplied to the reciprocating mechanism like piston and cylinder assembly. So this is the process which is performed in this stroke. After that particular process and stroke, there is one more process, that is process number 3 to 4, and that is actually isentropic expansion process. Once again, dear student, we have already discussed for the isentropic process, particularly in which entropy will always remain constant. During 3 to 4, you may see that the pressure is going to be decreased very much in amount, volume is going to be decreased in very high amount. So this is the some property relation between pressure, volume and entropy during this expansion process. And this 3 to 4 process is happening in this particular stroke over here. So during this particular process number 3 to 4, that means isentropic expansion process, piston definitely move from top to bottom side. Due to expansion, of course, volume is going to be increased over here. Pressure definitely will be decreased, and entropy remain constant throughout the entire process. During that, we are getting work from the crankshaft, because piston move down in downward direction. It will rotate a crankshaft through connecting rod and crank mechanism. So this is the process number 3 to 4. Now we are coming across the process number 4 to 1. Look at this is the process of constant volume, and in that particular process, heat is rejected to the surrounding. That means Q is out from that particular process. Over here, due to rejection of heat, pressure is going to be decreased from P4 to P1. Of course, the volume is remain constant. So this is the same. This process number 4 to 1 is definitely performing this engine position. Look at the diagram. Over here, there is a exhaust valve is open, so that it clearly means that as piston moves in upward direction, due to opening of this exhaust valve, the remaining flue gases having the very less amount of heat will be exhausted through exhaust valve, and it will be exit to the atmosphere. So this is what happening in case of the thermodynamic process, in particularly Otto cycle. So over here, we have discussed 4 basic process, in which particularly 2 process are constant volume. One is heat addition at constant volume, one is heat rejection at constant volume. One is 1 to 2 process is isentropic compression, and 3 to 4 is the isentropic expansion process. Basically, it is the pair of 2 processes, isentropic and uh, we can say that the constant volume process. Now, after that, it's time to have the discussion on efficiency. But before it, during process number 4 to 1, we know that whatever the heat is rejected can be calculated by using that relation, that is QR. R stand for the rejection. So heat rejection is equal to MCV, higher temperature minus lower temperature. So in case of process number 4 to 1, T4 is the higher temperature, T1 is the lower temperature. So by putting the relevant value, you can calculate the heat rejected amount. Now, once you have calculated the heat supplied and heat rejected, it's very easy to calculate efficiency. And we all know that the efficiency of Otto cycle is equal to net work upon heat supplied. So over here, net work is equal to W suffix net upon Q suffix S. Now, net work is always equal to whatever the you have supplied heat minus you have required. That means you are rejecting it. So suppose this is a heat engine, you are supplying Qs as a heat, and you are rejecting Qr as a few portion of amount of heat, then finally work is always equal to W, and that is equal to Qs minus Qr. So in same way, we can have the relation of the Qs minus Qr. This is the equation for Q supplied, that means heat supplied. This is the equation stand for the Q rejection. Over here, input we are giving as a heat supplied. So by solving that relation, mathematical equations, we have the equation of 1 minus T4 minus T1 upon T3 minus T2. So this is the equation for efficiency. Still, if you require to have the more simplification and reduction of that equation, just go through process number 1 to 2, and from 1 to 2, that means isentropic compression process, there is a V1 upon V2 is equal to R, and R is equal to nothing but it is compression ratio. It is the simply ratio of volume at the initial and final condition or the final compression process. Basically, compression ratio is the ratio of volume. Volume ratio you have to take on whenever your compression process is start upon whenever your compression process is ends. So the volume ratio should be taken at state 1 and state 2. So if we are replacing V1, then it will become Vc plus Vs. That means clearance volume plus sweat volume. Because suppose this is an IC engine, this is the, for example, state number 2, and this is state number 1. Suppose piston is over here, a piston find its position over here. So this entire volume, that will be known as a V1, and V1 itself include the clearance volume and remaining other volume. So we can say that this entire V1, that is always equal to clearance volume plus swept volume. Swept volume, that means the distance or the volume that is covered between two dead centers. So ultimately V1 can be replaced by Vc plus Vs, and V2 is replaced by Vc, because whenever piston move and reach at the point number 2, then whatever the volume above that piston is always equal to clearance volume. So over here V1 is replaced by V1 is replaced by Vc plus Vs, whereas V2 is replaced by always Vc. And now, similarly, you can perform the same relation with expansion process too. Once again, you should to take expansion ratio is equal to R, and this time the ratio should be taken in such a way that at the end of the expansion process, you have to measure the volume, and it will be divided by the starting of the expansion process. At that time, whatever the volume, it should be divided by this. So V4 upon V3 is equal to the R, and R is equal to compression ratio. But we know that V4 is always equal to V1, because 4 to 1 process is the constant volume process. So you can put the values of V4 is equal to V1. And similarly, you can also put the values of V3 is equal to V2, because process number 2 to 3 is constant volume heat addition. So V2 is always equal to V3. So in that manner, you can replace the volumes V4 and V3. Now, once you have calculated the compression and expansion ratio, now consider the process number 1 to 2, that means reversible adiabatic compression process, and put the relation of temperature versus volume that we have already discussed in our chapter number 3, property of gases. So if you are finding any adiabatic compression or any adiabatic process, then the uh, relation between properties like temperature and volume becomes like that. So this is the T2 upon T1 is equal to V1 upon V2 raised to gamma minus 1. And we know that V1 upon V2 is equal to compression ratio. So ultimately your equation becomes R raised to gamma minus 1. Yes, that of the reversible adiabatic compression process. Now consider the process number 3 to 4, that is the reversible adiabatic process. And once again, you have to use the relation of temperature and volume there. So by putting the values or the relation like T3 upon T4 is equal to V4 upon V3 gamma minus 1, it will become ultimately R raised to gamma minus 1. So what we have done here, we have just considered process number 1 to 2, calculate the compression ratio. Then after we have considered process number 3 to 4, calculate the expansion ratio. Then we have considered the process number 1 to 2, that means reversible adiabatic compression, and we have find the relation between temperature and volume there. Similarly, we have considered process number 3 to 4 and put the values or the relation between temperature and volume over there. So one by one, you have to just consider each and every process and a few relations that you have to put there. Now, from the above two relation, that means both of this relation and this relation, that means process number 1 to 2 and 3 to 4, you can write that T2 is equal to T1 is equal to T3 upon T4, and that is equal to R raised to gamma minus 1. Now, just what you require to do is that you have to just put the basic values. That means, for example, uh, T2 is T2 now, T2 becomes T1 into R raised to gamma minus 1. T3 is becomes T4 into R raised to gamma minus 1. So just you have to put the values of all the temperature in previous slides equation, that means efficiency like this in this particular equation. Put the values of T4, put the values of T3, put the values of T2 from this relation that we have getting by equating both of the processes 1 to 2 and 3 to 4. So ultimately, by putting that value in that particular equation of efficiency of Otto cycle, you find that there is a T3 upon R raised to gamma minus 1 minus T2 upon R raised to gamma minus 1, T3 minus T2. Now by solving that relation, you will have the final equation or the relation for the efficiency of Otto cycle, and that is the eta O2 is equal to 1 minus 1 upon R raised to gamma. So this is the equation stands for the efficiency of an Otto cycle. Now from that relation, we can build a relation between efficiency and compression ratio. So this graph represents the relation between Otto cycle efficiency and compression ratio, because we have derived the relation of efficiency in terms of compression ratio. So it is very important to discuss herein what is happening if you are increasing the compression ratio, what is happening if you are increasing adiabatics index gamma, because entirely Otto cycle efficiencies depend on only and only two properties, that is, one is R, that is compression ratio, and one is gamma, that is adiabatic index. So one should have the sufficient knowledge about the relation between compression ratio and adiabatic index as that with respect to efficiency of Otto cycle. So this graph represents the relation of compression ratio with respect to Otto cycle. From the diagram, it is very clear that up to some limit, that if you are using, you are increasing the compression ratio, your efficiency will be going to be increased up to some extent. After that, if you are still increasing the compression ratio, it may be possible that efficiency of Otto cycle will be going to be decreased. Along with this, if you are increasing compression ratio and simultaneously you are increasing value of adiabatic index, like from 1.3 to 1.6, the efficiency of Otto cycle is going to be increased like that. So over here, I can conclude that the efficiency of Otto cycle is strictly depend on compression ratio and adiabatic index. If you are increasing compression ratio as well, adiabatic index, you will have the higher efficiency up to a certain limit. After that particular, beyond that limit, if you are still increasing both of the properties, the efficiency of Otto cycle will be decreased. So this is what the relation between compression ratio, Otto cycle efficiency, and of course adiabatics index. Now after discussion on Otto cycle, now it's time to discuss on very similar type of the cycle as that of the Otto cycle is diesel cycle. Actually, it was discovered by German engineer Dr. Rudolf Diesel. And entire diesel cycle or diesel thermodynamic cycle consists of basically two reversible adiabatic cycle and one constant pressure and one volume process. Actually, in Otto cycle, there are 6 thermodynamic process. Out of 6, 2 process are the constant pressure suction and constant pressure exhaust process. So remaining 4 process, in which particularly 2 process are adiabatic, reversible adiabatic process. One is a constant pressure and one is a constant volume process. Now generally it is find its application in diesel engine, particularly, for example, car, truck, buses, in such type of heavy loaded vehicle. This type of diesel cycle is used in the particular diesel engine. And generally, if we are comparing this diesel cycle with Otto cycle, or diesel engine with petrol engine or auto engine, then the combustion that is produced by virtue of compression of air in case of diesel engine. That means, in particular diesel cycle or diesel engine, there is no need of spark plug, because compression is made on air in such a way that air becomes so hot and self-ignition temperature becomes so high of air, and in that particular way, if you are injecting diesel fuel in terms of drops, it will be directly ignited. So there will be no requirement of any kind of spark plug in case of diesel cycle or diesel engine. Now look at the PV diagram of diesel cycle. First and most important process, that is the reversible adiabatic, or we can say that isentropic compression process, process number 1 to 2. And during this process, air is compressed and its pressure is increased from P1 to P2, like that. This is adiabatic or reversible adiabatic, and we can say that the isentropic compression process. So pressure is going to be very much high from P1 to P2. Simultaneously, as you compressing the air, definitely volume of air will be decreased from V4 to V2, like that. V1 to V2, or we can say that V4 to V2, because V1 is equal to V4. Now, in order to perform this compression work, we require to supply some kind of additional work over here. Then and then compression work may be possible. So this process required additional work for the compression process. Now, after that, the process number 2 to 3 is known as constant pressure heat addition process, because by keeping pressure as a constant property, over here we are adding heat inside this particular engine or cycle, as compared to previous cycle, Otto cycle, in which particularly by keeping the volume as a constant property or the parameter, and we are adding the heat inside it. But in case of diesel engine, there is a pressure constant, and through that you should to supply or the provide the heat during this process. So process number 2 to 3 is the constant pressure heat addition process. Heat is of course added in this process. Pressure definitely remain constant, and the temperature is going to be increased, and whatever the heat that you are supplying during this process will be MCP T3 minus T2. That means higher temperature to lower temperature. After that, the process number 3 to 4 is reversible adiabatic, or we can say that isentropic expansion process. Basically, in particular, 3 to 4 process having the process of expansion, and particular expansion should be performed in such a way that the entropy remain constant, because this is isentropic expansion process. So entire process contains the same and constant entropy throughout this process. Pressure and temperature of air definitely decrease, whereas volume due to expansion will be increased. And for that, due to that particular expansion, we are getting the work, or say the power, W out. That is the real output that we require to have from the diesel cycle or diesel engine. Then last process, that is the constant volume heat rejection process, 4 to 1. It is very similar or exactly similar as that of the constant volume heat rejection process of Otto cycle. Heat is rejected by air by keeping the volume as a constant parameter. Pressure and temperature of course decreases, and whatever the heat that is being rejected is stand for the QR is equal to MCV T4 minus T1. Now, as what we have derived an equation in case of Otto cycle efficiency, same perform in same manner you can have the derivation of efficiency in case of diesel engine. So first of all, you just required to have the efficiency relation in like network upon heat supplied. We know that network upon QS, network is equal to whatever the heat supplied minus heat rejected, and this is heat supplied as input. By solving this relation, you will have 1 minus T4 minus T1 upon gamma T3 minus T2. This is the basic equation of diesel cycle, or the efficiency of diesel engine. Now, one by one, we are taking the process and derive some relation, which will be ultimately put away in this basic equation. And at the end, if we are solving, we will have the efficiency relation for diesel cycle. So for to do so, first of all, we know that the compression ratio R is equal to V1 upon V2, and one more property or the parameter, that is the cutoff ratio. Basically, it is the volume ratio, but cutoff ratio is little bit differ as compared to compression ratio. A cutoff ratio, it is the ratio of volume at the end of the fuel supply with the starting of the fuel supply. That means cutoff ratio is the volume ratio that is taken by keeping in mind the fuel supply and fuel end. So suppose you are supplying fuel up to some portion and you are measuring that volume, and it is that volume, measured volume is divided by the volume at which you have started to supply fuel, then this ratio of course is nothing other than cutoff ratio. Now after that cutoff ratio, we have already derived and discussed about the expansion ratio, that is equal to V4 upon V3, but V4 upon V3 can be write in that manner too, just by dividing denominator and numerator with respect to V2. So ultimately your final equation will becomes V4 upon V2 is equal to V3 upon V2. Now we know that V4 upon V2, that is equal to compression ratio R, because V4 is equal to V1 and V2 is equal to V2. So over here V4 upon V2 is replaced by compression ratio R, whereas V3 upon V2 definitely is replaced by rho, that is the cutoff ratio. Now after that, just you have to focus upon process number 1 to 2, that is reversible adiabatic compression process. Just you have to put the relation of temperature and volume. So you will have T2 upon T1 is equal to V1 upon V2 raised to gamma minus 1. We know that V1 upon V2 is equal to compression ratio R. So ultimately, in this particular equation, if you convert this equation in terms of T2, then you will have T2 is equal to T1 R raised to gamma minus 1. This is equation number 1. Now similarly you can also derive the relation from the process number 2 to 3, that is the constant pressure heat addition process. Kindly write the relation of equation of state over here in case of process number 2 to 3. P2 V2 upon T2 is equal to P3 V3 upon T3, and convert this equation in terms of T3, that will become T2 V3 upon V2. Because over here P2 is always equal to P3, this 2 to 3 process is performed at constant volume process, so P2 is always equal to P3, so it will be cancelled out, and finally you will have equation T3 is equal to T2 V3 upon V2. So now we have two relation. One is T2 is equal to T1 R raised to gamma minus 1, and other is equal to T3 T2 V3 upon V2. Just you have to put the values of T2 in equation number 2 from equation number 1. By solving it, you will have the T3 is equal to T1 R raised to gamma minus 1 into rho. Now, once you have derived that particular relation, kindly consider the process number 3 to 4, that is reversible adiabatic expansion process. Put the relation of 3 to 4 process between temperature and volume. T4 upon T3 is equal to V3 upon V4 raised to gamma minus 1. But we know that there is a relation V4 upon V3 that we have already derived in previous case. So it will become V4 upon V3 is equal to R raised to gamma, and put that value over here and convert entire equation in terms of T4. So it will become T4 is equal to T3 rho gamma minus 1 R gamma minus 1. So this is equation number 4. So what we have done up to now, we have just considered each and every process. We have put the value relation between temperature and volume, and at the end we have derived the equation in terms of temperature T2, temperature T3, and of course temperature T4. So just you have to now put the values of all temperature, either T2, T3, T4 in particular basic equation of diesel cycle efficiency that we have already derived as a form of equation number A. So by putting that all that value and you are simplifying it, you will have 1 minus 1 upon R raised to gamma minus 1 bracket rho raised to gamma minus 1 gamma bracket rho minus 1. So this is the final and ultimate equation of the diesel cycle, or we can say that the efficiency of diesel engine 2 that we have derived. Now from that above relation, there is few conclusion. Conclusion is look like that efficiency of diesel cycle is purely depend on compression ratio of specific heat, that means gamma or adiabatic index, and cutoff ratio. But cutoff ratio is always more than 1 and gamma less than 1. And of course, if you are increasing all that parameter or decreasing all that parameter, it directly affects the efficiency of diesel cycle. So at the end, we can conclude that the efficiency increase if you are increasing compression ratio. But you should to decrease the cutoff ratio. Along with, if you are increasing the efficiency, increasing the compression ratio along with cutoff ratio, of course, your efficiency of diesel cycle will not longer increase. But you just focus upon cutoff ratio, it should be decreased, and compression ratio, it should be increased. So dear student, this entire lecture was purely based on actually auto cycle and diesel cycle. In short, I can say that this entire lecture was based on internal combustion engine, because both of the cycles, either auto cycle or diesel cycle, they are widely used in particularly internal combustion engine. Auto cycle is used in petrol or gas engine, whereas diesel cycle is used in diesel engine. I hope that you have enjoyed that entire lecture. Still you have any kind of difficulty or the few questions that you want to know about more in detail about this particular cycle or engines, let me inform, raise your question. We will solve and we will have the good solution at the end. Dear student, thank you very much that you are attending my lectures. Uh, you are always be present. Kindly stay tuned up with us so that we can upload more and more numbers of such a kind of the lecture on same subject. Thank you very much.